Well, here I am out at Project Mitsubashi, or Chris even said that my name of HazMit was pretty clever, so we'll see how the name evolves as time goes on. But I don't have any fun thing to do. I just kind of wanted to come out here and give a general consensus on how to run a compression check on your engine. Now, just due to how the engine is laid out in this, I won't be able to do all 6 cylinders in this, and you can see that right here when I get to these 3, but those back ones, they are pretty well tucked in there, so I probably won't be able to get to those today. But nevertheless, most of the principles are still the same, whether you do 1 cylinder or you do all of them. First thing you got to do is disconnect your fuel pump relay. Now in this car, it was inside the cab. Right as you open the door on the driver's side, there was a fuse panel cover. Just pulled it off, and it was the second one kind of going towards the driver, which you can see here. I made sure to crank it over, and the engine does not start anymore, which is perfect. You don't want it to start during a compression test. So next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take, now this car has a distributor, so it has a remote mounted distributor that's connected to a camshaft, and when that distributor is rotor that passes over the distributor, and when it hits one of the leads inside of the distributor cap, it sends that electrical signal down through this wire here, sends it into your spark plug fires. That's how it operates. They usually operate at like somewhere in the 20 to 50,000 volt range, and it gets that from a coil that is generating the 12 volts up to the 20, 30, 40,000 that a spark plug runs at. If you have a coil on plug style like a 5.4 Triton or a Dodge Dart with a 2-liter, it'll have a small little connector right here, and it'll have a really big square head on it, usually square, and it'll have a hold down bolt attached to it. The coil is actually located directly on the spark plug. You just disconnect the little connector, pull it out, pull your spark plug out, and away you go. If you have a coil near plug like a Chevy LS, then there will be a coil kind of like right here, and then a very short spark plug wire like this running down into the spark plug. But for this one, being that it's a distributor, we just got a boot, and for these, it's pretty simple. You just grab a hold of them, kind of work them back and forth, and pull them out. And that just sits right on top of the spark plug. So let me go ahead and get these 2 out of here. Put it over here. And on some engines, you might want to be careful about keeping track of where these spark plug wires and plugs all go, but for this one, it's pretty simple where the different length wires go. Man, they did not give you much room on that, did they? Almost like you gotta take this wiring harness off. Oh, well, I guess that's one benefit of old cars. All the hold downs are completely rotted away. Plastic's just turning into dust right before our very eyes. Interesting. Is that gonna be enough to get it out? Yeah, that's enough. All right, cool. So we got our 3 spark plug boots off of this side here. So now, yeah, that one's good, that one's good, that one's good. And primarily what I'm looking for these is I'm just making sure that there isn't oil or something down in the spark plug holes, which could indicate that the valve cover might be leaking. But in this case, it seems like they actually are doing pretty good. Now that we know we got our spark plugs look good down there, let's try and retrieve them. Yeah, these are definitely 5/8. Ooh. They're tight. Probably haven't been taken out in a while. There we go. Yeah, those were tight. Still kind of is, but she's covered now. Yeah, so the not so fun thing about not having a spark plug socket is once you get it out, you can't get it out of the hole. Hopefully these are long enough. Yeah. There she is. Actually looks really good, to be honest. Doesn't look like there's any oil fouling or carbon fouling or anything. That is a old Denso spark plug. But no, actually it looks like it's in really good shape. That's a positive. All right, let's get the other two out. Perfect. Now that we got the spark plugs out, now we need to grab our compression tester kit. And this is just a cheap one I got at O'Reilly's. Doesn't really matter. They all generally work the same. What you're going to want to do is take whatever adapter you need and compare it to your spark plug to make sure you get the right thread pitch. And that one looks like a match. So then with this one, take your hose out. You're going to want to thread on your adapter. This one came with one on it. I'll take that off. Thread this one on. Just get it hand tight. Take your gauge, take your connection end, just lock it in place, make sure that's in there. Then take your gauge and just thread it in there. And I mean, once you get it as tight as you can, but you're never gonna get it as tight as the spark plug was, which is fine, because again, you're not starting your car. So is it good to get it as tight as you can, yeah, but if you feel like it's not tight enough, as long as it doesn't move around too much anymore, it should be fine. So now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna go crank this and watch this gauge. Probably wanna crank it around 2-3 revolutions, hold the starter for about 5 seconds. So I'm gonna go do that and then I'll come back and look at what we got. What do we get? Not bad. Just under 200, maybe 190, somewhere in there. Nice. So, and then most compression gauges will have this little button here. This just relieves the compression, so you can move it to the next one. All right, same as before. Just go crank. Ooh, that one's a little lower. Not terrible, but definitely not as much. I'm gonna double check, crank it again a little bit. Just want to make sure I gave it enough time. I did. Doesn't look like it moved at all. Okay, well, I mean, it's not terrible. It's within 20, which isn't bad. Ideally, you'd want it all within like 10 to 15, but I've definitely seen a lot worse. And also keep in mind, this car has almost 141,000 miles on it, so this ain't exactly a spring chicken of a vehicle. Somewhere in the middle. Cool. So we got high, low, medium. This engine is like Goldilocks. That one's too high, that one's too low, and that one's still technically too low according to the spec. But they're all low according to the spec. I think I saw they should be around like 215, 220 PSI, just because it's the manual option. They had a little bit higher cylinder pressure. But I mean, realistically, it's not terrible. Like, I've seen way worse, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of power through getting all this stuff put back together, and we'll kind of go through the results at the end. All right. I just checked the torque spec. It's about 18 foot-pounds and about 25 Newton meters. Now, I don't have a torque wrench with me. It's at my work, and I don't want to leave all my tools out in the open to run to the shop to go get it. So I'm just going to go by feel. I've had a lot of experience working things down. I have a good idea of what 18 foot-pounds feels like to me, and these were a lot tighter than 18 foot-pounds. So that was probably partially due to corrosion and just heat cycling and stuff like that. But I would recommend you definitely get a torque wrench, even if you have to rent one from a shop or rent one from a tool store or something like that. It just makes it so much better to know that you got it exactly the way it was supposed to be. So, all right, now let's get the spark plug boots back on. Now, I do want to check these for any dirt or corrosion. These look good. Normally, you would want to put dielectric grease down in the end, right here, just a little bit. Helps keep moisture and stuff like that out. And I probably will come back later and put dielectric grease in there because it doesn't look like there is any. But at the same time, these were also sealed incredibly well. So, something to consider. I'd say we're all good, and we'll go inside and I'll kind of show you where I get my information, how you can get information for working on your vehicle, and how to properly find and utilize the information at your fingertips. So, hope you enjoyed. In case you guys want to know where I got the information for working on Project Mitsubashi or any other vehicle that I work on, usually within a certain year range. Obviously the newer the better, but I actually use the same tool that we use at work, or that I use at the school too. It's called All Data. Now this is the DIY version. You're going to want to look for this one if it just has just this part, not the All Data DIY. That'll be the professional version, which is significantly more expensive. The All Data DIY solutions, it allows you to pick a single vehicle, and then don't be confused, this is when you do the 3-year plan. So if you wanted to get any vehicle that you're working on, we'll just use the Mitsubishi as an example. I already have it, but you just come down, find your vehicle. Now if you are working on a truck, definitely make sure that you pick truck. Chevy truck, Chevrolet, Cadillac truck. This would be like for example, it'd be like any of the Cadillac cars versus like the Cadillac Escalade would be under here. Obviously like Chevy Cruzes, Chevy Malibus, Chevy Volts, things like that would be under here, but like Silverados, Colorados, things like that would be under here. So you just want to find your make. In this case, it's Mitsubishi. Clips. Then you want to pick your right engine. Project Mitsubashi has a 3-liter V6, so you just come over here, hit select, and then you can see the plans if you want just a month, 1 year, 3-year, and what's nice, they are one-time payments. It's not a monthly reoccurring payment. Even if you buy a month, it will automatically expire. You have to go back in and renew it on your own. It won't renew automatically. But in this case, like I said, I already got it, so I'm just going to come up here to log in. I'm going to come into my data, and then I'm already here. Normally it would be a login page, but I already logged in on this device before, so I didn't have to. But after you create your profile, you will be greeted with a login screen. Just type in your data, and then you'll log in. This is for my other vehicles, so just ignore this for now. But pretty much the only vehicle I have is the Project Mitsubashi right now. So I can just come over here and click this, but if you have multiple vehicles, you can go by the year, make, model, engine, either way works. And this pretty much gives you access to everything from fault codes to service tables, service bulletins, wiring diagrams, specs. This includes like torque specs, fluid capacities. Say you needed to know how much refrigerant to put in for, like, if you're recharging the AC system. Boom, tells you right there. Approximately 400 to 440 grams, 14.1 to 15.5 ounces. That's just an example of fluid capacities. If we go back, you can see that you can get all kinds of stuff. You can even get mechanical values, pressures, things like that. for like the compression check right here, which is what I was going to refer to. This shows all of the compression pressures without manual transmission. That's what this means. With manual transmission, you can see what I was talking about, that they're in about I said about 210, 215. That's what it should be. Base limit is 149, basically 150. And this means the pressure difference between all of the cylinders. You don't want more than 15. So as you can tell, Project Mitsubashi is getting on the low end. It's not quite below minimum, but it's definitely getting down there. All data DIY is amazing, or just this is full all data. You're not being limited by any information. It's just you're not paying for access to every single vehicle in their system, which makes it really nice. You still get all the same information even from a professional subscription or a professional package of all data. The only difference is you're not accessing every car that's ever been made, but you're still getting all the information for a 2004 Mitsubishi Eclipse with a 3-liter V6 engine. So, but what I like is the non-OE wiring diagrams, so you can see the difference. Let's look at like the brake lamp. You can see that this is obviously a scan of the original Mitsubishi one, and you can still follow it. Obviously, battery, relay box, tells you the relay number, rating of the fuse, goes through the switch. Like, you can still follow it. It's not exactly hard, but what's nice about all data is they provide these non-OE ones that are interactive. So let's do the same thing. Let's go find lighting, and let's do the backup circuits. And what's cool is if you hit this zoom and print button, you can pull it up and you can trace the wires, or you can click the components that they're connected to, and it'll show you, which for a small circuit like this is kind of pointless. But if you go to, let's say, the ECM with manual transmission, now you can see how this could get out of hand really quickly. Trying to, let's take this blue wire here, and you got to follow this whole thing all the way through and see, like, it's 11 here, and that changes to 8, and then goes up to the evap purge solenoid. Or you could just click it, zoom out, and the whole trace is highlighted for you. You could even do even better if you know that you have a problem with your purge solenoid. Just click it and it shows you everything that's connected to it. Every sensor, every control motor, everything that would be connected to that same circuit. So I really think all data DIY is worth it for stuff like this, but obviously you can decide on your own what you like. And yeah, this is where I get all of my professional level information. This is the system I was taught about in college. It's a system I've used professionally, and it's great, especially for $20 for a month. Personally, I think it's better than a repair manual, just because it'll never get dirty, it'll never get damaged, it'll never get lost. It'll always be there. It's always updated. You can use it on a phone, tablet, computer, whatever you have. So yeah, if you're working on any of your vehicles, definitely consider giving this a chance. Just kind of poke through it and see what it has. And I will say, obviously, the newer the vehicle, the more information it'll have, but there's quite a bit here. So definitely check it out if you can, but if you can't afford it, don't stress. There's plenty of other resources. You can sometimes find repair manuals at libraries. You could, obviously, there's the entirety of the internet, YouTube, forums, things like that. So yeah, just figured I'd come on and show you that, and also compare the results from the compression test to what the spec is supposed to be.